everyone, Amethyst here. Welcome back to another video on my channel. If you have seen the thumbnail or title, yes, I am talking about the Peaches situation again. Recently, Kai and Omnia's response videos came out. I would like to say that I am glad Omnia explained what happened on her side with the thumbnail situation. I never really made a comment on how I felt regarding it, but seeing how so many people were assuming her character before she even had a chance to speak really bothered me. Even I didn't know that Peaches gave Crist permission to use her thumbnail, and I thought it was some kind of double standard as well. I agree that Peaches should have made it clear that she gave him permission, and to come to Omnia directly if she had a problem with it. I'm extremely annoyed with how everyone handled it, including Harley. I agree that he sometimes bases his claims off of emotion and not fact. A few people are guilty of this. I know Harley doesn't have as big as a channel as other people in this community, but what he says still influences his audience, and he is responsible for all the things he says in his video. That statement can also apply to everyone involved. Take accountability for any mistakes you said in your videos. It's not that hard. I'm also glad that Kai made his response defending himself and providing some clarification. However, I still have a few issues with some of the points he made. After Kai released his response, Harley made a community post defending himself on a few points. This point right here, Harley commented about what Kai said about his student video, and I agree with some points. Harley and Peaches did the best they could to shed light on the situation. It was not 4 brownie points, as you said. Although I agree with some of the points you made, you did it in a way that discourages them or anyone else from talking about situations like these. Not once did you even praise them for attempting to make it and spread awareness in the first place. Of course, they don't understand the racism black people face, but you chastising the way they handled the video doesn't make them understand, especially with the aggressive tone you gave it. It makes it even more uncomfortable. Now, before anyone says what I think you're going to say, I am black. I don't speak for all blacks, neither does Kai, but there are more effective and non-aggressive ways to spread information like this. I know you are very passionate about the subject, but do it in a way that you take understanding and be considerate on what they're trying to say. The way you worded your feelings on the matter came across as demonizing them for being ignorant and attacking them for attempting to talk about it at all. I could be wrong with you though. You can have your different opinions on it. Even though I am black, because I've been sheltered for most of my life so far, and also because I haven't really gone into educating myself more on these issues, I don't really understand how significant certain things are in the black community. Well, besides the racism and colorism, but I don't know as much as I feel I should with these issues. But what bothers me though is when blacks who are very passionate about these issues tend to be aggressive with it and end up harassing and gatekeeping. I'm saying it just makes it uncomfortable and also frustrating because in my experience, in one instance, 2 of my family members who are very passionate about this issue were very aggressive with it, one of them even triggering my anxiety in another instance in the process. And in another experience, I witnessed a poor girl on Twitter being harassed by not just the SJWs, but the passionate aggressive blacks for her wearing a black-only hairstyle on her Animal Crossing New Horizons player. I'm sure there are black people out there who are passionate in regards to racism and aren't as aggressive and are more understanding, but so far this is the attitude I have been seeing among them. Explain your views on the matter in a way that makes it easier to understand without that layer of aggression and encourages people to do better. And I think Harley and Peaches did the best they could. That same point Harley made, however, he makes a comparison of discrimination he faced while in Thailand to the discrimination of BIPOC people face. Harley, these are not the same thing. LGBTQ discrimination is entirely different to the discrimination of people of color. Even some people of color discriminate against the LGBTQ plus community, emphasized by this comment here. While you may have some instead of discrimination itself, the whole LGBTQ plus issue is an entire different subject with an entire different movement. Another point Harley makes is that Kai criticized him for promoting his channel in Peach's videos on DaVinchi. Kai, this is a ridiculous argument. Many YouTubers promote their channel, even on serious topics like these. It's not to take away DaVinchi's voice, and if she saw it that way, she would have and can say so herself. Another thing that I want to point out, it's not in the script, but I just noticed this last minute. In two of the points that Harley makes in his community post, he labels them as Kai's poor representation of blah blah blah. It makes it look like you're not really taking the criticism that Kai gave you. It makes it seem like his points are invalid, and it's not a poor representation. You may not agree with it, but it's not poor. His views and his opinions are just as valid as yours, and you labeling it as such as like a poor representation or whatnot, it makes you seem like you're, I don't know, like above his criticism or something like that. It doesn't make you seem like you're open to whatever criticism he gave. But I could be reading too much into it. I feel like you probably should, change that. But yeah. Anyway, on to the next thing. Kai responded to this post Harley made, and I'm really annoyed with how he is handling it, especially when he's trying to educate him on race. Dude, like I said before, you aggressively educating him like this doesn't help him. And I thought you said that you weren't going to respond after your video, and yet here you are, still responding and talking, as well as talking about it on your Twitter and arguing with Harley. Maybe I heard what you said wrong, but this isn't helping you. Take it easy. I can also say the same thing for Harley. Please stop engaging with Kai. It's clear that when you do, you become aggressive and insensitive. It's annoying, and it gets immature when you respond. Don't make that excuse that you're 16. Given this context, you should be held accountable for your responses. Harley posted another post saying that Kai kept his comment hidden about how his post of him saying slurs was years ago, and he doesn't stand by them now. If we look at what's happening in the screenshot he provided, Kai is returning the karma for what Harley said to Kai, which was talked about in Kai's recent response video and my previous video on the matter. Harley, I would agree his move wasn't right, but so was yours when you did the same thing. I guess you didn't see this as a lesson, seeing how you're making this an issue. If you would have just taken the time to read Kai's response to what you tweeted, you would have understand. I also want to give my views on what Peaches felt on her exclamation on why she thought Nessa's whitewashing didn't matter. I understand what you meant here when you said this, Peaches, and I do get so annoyed when real blacks, or just people of color as a whole, don't get as much attention and support they need when they face racism. But just because Nessa isn't real doesn't mean it doesn't matter. The whole Nessa whitewashing situation is very significant, and like with Kai said in his video, you have no place to determine if it matters or not. My sister faces this issue, one of my family members being the cause of it, and it doesn't help the fact that they are ageist. Not sure if that's the right word to describe it, but they treat her differently because of her age. That, plus the colorist views they have, make it very difficult for her as a black teen, and although I haven't experienced it myself, it pisses me off that she has to go through this. I don't want her to be treated differently just because of race or age. There is a whole reason why black representation is so important to the black community, and you, who is not a person of color, questioning if it matters rubs me the wrong way. I know that you didn't mean to, as I said before. I understand what you meant by this comment, but please be a little bit more careful in the future. I also noticed people complaining on the fact that Kai and Amia are the only ones talking about race. And they're black creators, they're black people. They have every right to comment about race if they see fit. Like in this situation, there has been Peaches herself and a few other people in this drama have made comments of race that rub them the wrong way, and it could be due to ignorance or something else, but they have every right to talk about this. And they talk about this because no one else is talking about this. No one else has made it a priority or made it like an issue. Like no one has really taken the time to point these things out and educate and, you know, spread awareness about it. Though, like I said with Kai, his way of doing it doesn't help anything. It still is still like he has, as a black man, he has every right to talk about this. So you complaining, I don't know, I can't assume your race, I can't assume it through, like, unless you state otherwise, but you can't really be the ones complaining. Like, if you are black, like, I would understand, but at the same time, they are in their full right to talk about this and bring up the comments of race that has been said. But if you're not, you should not be complaining. Like, this, you don't get to decide. Like, honestly. But anyway, I would like to also comment on Rai's stance on the phrase pulling the race card. He states in his videos that people who use it are racist, and I wouldn't really agree. I don't think it's very fair to like make a general assumption on that. I feel like it should be handled in a case-by-case scenario, as I bet some people use it but are ignorant, or maybe people use it because there have been people in the past who probably have used race as an excuse for their bad behavior. And it could be true, because there's some people out there who use whatever mental health or relationship or age or whatever as an excuse to deflect blame and criticism. So it's okay if you don't agree with this. I just think it's not really fair to make this claim, especially since calling people racist is a big claim. So I don't think it's a right move here. The next thing I want to talk about is a tweet that Kai made on the 12th of March 2021. This one here. I am disgusted by this tweet. As someone who also had my vent art taken without permission and used in a way that ended up doing more harm to me, I feel very angry that you tweeted this. Of course, she was going to be upset about this. Not only was it her art, but it was her vent art, personal to her. Amia was a lot more calmer and understanding when she talked about the thumbnail situation. You were not. You said in your video that you understand if it was vent art, but you made this tweet here. I agree that Peaches should not have assumed what she did to Amia, and I agree she should have communicated with her. But the fact that you had the audacity to say that she is tripping over a JPEG, given the context of the situation, genuinely angers me and wasn't fair to Peaches. I don't know if it was poor wording on your part, or if you no longer stand by this tweet, but either way, I think you owe Peaches an apology for that. Kai and Harley aren't helping the situation by being aggressive. Harley's videos on Kai and Amia was unnecessary and were mainly assumptions. And one of the problems I have with him is when he tells people or others to be mature, he does it in a way like he has the moral high ground, and sometimes uses his age as an excuse. Please, to anyone watching, whether it be relationship, age, mental health, or something else entirely, use it as an exclamation, not an excuse. It's so annoying to see other people use whatever inconveniences or issues they have as an excuse to deflect blame or criticism. It hurts the people who have similar problems like you, and thus creates the stigma that people with that issue are bad in some way. I am sick and tired of people doing this. Please be the bigger person and take accountability for your mistakes. Kai's aggressive tweets on Twitter didn't help either, especially since he's still making this situation an issue on his Twitter. It's fine if you want to defend yourself, Kai, but you need to get off Twitter, rest your mind, and reflect. I know you and Omnia haven't gotten a real break from the situation ever since the 𝗀𝗵𝗶𝗀 drama, but if you're going to handle it in an aggressive way, it won't help anything. There are better ways to phrase your points so that it doesn't attract more people than they already are to argue with you. Like with what I said to Peaches in my last video, I hope you take some more time off the internet and give yourself more self-care. After you have posted your video, you have gotten yourself into more arguments and it's not going to help you. I am tired of this. We all are. But the most annoyance I had with this drama is from the fans. Y'all are so quick to jump on a hate bandwagon without hearing the other side, and it has negatively affected the victims in this drama. Peaches, Kai, Omnia, and anyone else affected don't deserve the massive amount of hate given to them. I know you all care about your favorite creator, but please, before you comment criticism, first state your feelings, then give a reason why you feel this way and any evidence that support your reason. Stop with the assumptions, stop with the insults. You make the situation worse by doing so. I felt like I needed to voice how I feel. You don't have to agree with me, and that's fine. You are free to have your views on the matter. I'm sure many of us want this insanity to end. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. You don't have to agree with any opinions I have, and it's okay to have your own views on this matter. But please don't send hate to anyone involved in this drama. This drama has gone on long enough. It's been like, how long? 6 months? Too long, honestly. So yeah, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye guys.